Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. How's everyone doing? It's been a while. So, wanted to recap the last 3 days and talk about the pros and the cons and things we would do differently from what we did. Yada yada. We'll talk about HR. We'll talk about marketing, and we'll talk about just in general. So, last 3 days were a school hub, and they were in Hideout, which as a location is not as bad, but definitely would not do it again. Definitely highly do not recommend doing it again. A lot of work, a lot of effort, and the ROI is not worth it. The ROI from it. I mean, I'm gonna start with the cons because, boy, do I have a lot of things to say. So they were on the 9th, 10th, and 11th. Now the school hub was done in two places. They were done at Hideout, and then they were done in Mall of Egypt. So of course, Mall of Egypt being Mall of Egypt and being a part of Al Futtaim, the organization there was far better. It was far better. It was far more organized. It was far more wider. It was on a wider space. So, and again, it was in a mall. So basically, your flow was the flow of the mall. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful from what we've heard. However, we knew things were not as good when we heard Shwayfed pulling out. Here's the thing you need to know about schools when it comes to, if you ever are opening a school, or if you're ever opening an educational facility, your main player is Shwayfed. And if Shwayfed pulls out of something, it is a big red flag. Like one of the biggest red flags, because they don't need the sponsorships. They don't need to be in a place. But when they do go on a place, it elevates the entire thing. There will be a lot of parents. There will be a lot of support, because most of the parents will go to Shwayfed as a support for the school. So there's going to be a lot of flow. And then there was another school, another one of the bigger names of schools also pulled out, and was like, that was the second red flag. But we did not know they pulled out until the day of the event. Had we known that it was before the event, we would have pulled out, because it was, at this point in time, these two players, when they leave, it's a no-go. It's definitely not recommended to go to an event where they are not there. Yes, they're not the main competition, but they're still a competition anyway. So that was one thing about it. And then the other thing was just the location itself was just it was cramped. Like, the entire area was cramped. Kudos to the team. I mean, kudos to the admin team. Kudos to the entire team, the teachers, the wonderful job they did. They with the cards they were dealt, they did pretty good for the cards they were dealt, and I appreciate that from them. What we would have done differently, definitely not go with this. The person who organized the Hideout thing, definitely not go with them again. That's definitely, that's a no-brainer. We're not gonna go with them again. And whatever they recommend whatever they recommend again, we're not gonna go with that. And that's one thing. Two, gonna need to find another outsourced eventer, because that was a disaster. Definitely do not recommend doing that again. Also, that I'll give that part on Hyde Park itself, because Hyde Park, this reflected poorly on the compound when you allow for an organizer such as this entity to work there and pull something out like this. It reflects poorly on you. It reflects a idea of I just want the money, I don't care about anything else, and then that's never a good thing. You have to understand that you can't burn the customer. You have to be able to be with the customer, understand the customer more, and that's what you need to do. So yeah, that is something else. Also, the final thing also is the working, like the time that they had the event. They had the event from like 12 to like 9 p.m. If you are not willing to compensate your event goers for that, doing that one, and you're not willing to do that, then yeah, that's again, 3 days my back still hurts from like standing up and like just walk. And if my back hurts, I pity the admin team. The admin team were on their legs even earlier than they were, and they didn't get as much breaks. Like and I love my admin team for that. My admin team is very dedicated to their work. I'm the HR, and I was like, done. We're done. And I was like, we're done in my head, because I was like, the morale itself wasn't really. And you're feeding off of other morales. You're feeding off of other people's morales, and other people's morales is just down. Then it's like we all had the same expectation, we all had the same thing, and when we went there and discovered what we discovered, we're like, okay, that was not good. That was one thing. And then the other thing is the other con thing was just the whole thing in itself. It was demoralizing. Now, here's the pros, just so we can go. Like I said, the whole thing was demoralizing. It's just there was a low morale thing. It wasn't really a fun event. I mean, we tried to make it sound as fun as we can, but it couldn't. And I'm done with the thing. So because now we're done with the event, I was like, hey, let's reflect. I always do this reflection upon any events I go to or any job I go to. I do this reflection. I see the bad, I see the good, and then I see like the entire thing and what we would do different. So from the pros, definitely the team. Definitely kudos to the team. I mean, the individual workers on the booth, kudos to them. Hats off to their energy, the way, even though the whole thing was demoralizing, they were like on their legs, they were like talking to parents, they were like, and there was like this like inner collaboration between all of us, because we all felt the same thing, and so we had like this little collaboration between us, where we would send customers to each other, just like, yeah, you're looking for this one, go to this guy, and like, you're looking for this one, go to this guy, and we're like just helping each other out, and the whole thing is, and then like the marketing team. The marketing team, my favorite marketing team actually, so ours was good, but my favorite actually was a different school, and I was like talking to their marketing person, and we just like sat down, picking each other's brain out. And we're like, yeah, I'm like, what? I'm like, how do you, because the first thing we looked at each other is the way it was looking. This is how bad the organizer was, is our booth literally cut off their booth, and yet they made it work. They made it, and that's why I'm saying it was like my favorite marketing team, because they made it work. They had they paid premium, quote unquote, premium location, and they were not seen. Literally, you walk in, however you walk in, you will not be able to see them. This is how bad they were. They were cut off from different sections, and they made it work. One of the things that they made it work in was, and this is why I say the collaboration happened between like the different people, because we all felt scammed. That's basically what happens. We got scammed, and that was a scam. I mean, yeah, that was I mean, there's no other better way to say it than it was a scam. It was a scam, and you learn, you live and you learn. Yeah, it was a little bit of an expensive learning curve, but it wasn't a learning curve nonetheless, and a lot of people learned something about it, which is good. But anyway, so they made it work, and how they made it work is this is where your marketing team truly shines. If they're able to be given a really disadvantageous hand, and they make it work. And that's how they made it work. So our booth was like cutting them off. So the booth is like made of wood. So the backside of the wood is the ugliest thing you would see, because that's normally where you don't see the stuff. Again, this is when you have a quote unquote prime location, you tend to not have and they were told it was like going to be close to like a wall, so that's why we had like the booth designed in a way that was like the wall would hide the back one, so the back one wasn't hidden. So these guys ended up getting like they had like this really large banner, because again they were now their case was told the opposite of ours. So they weren't going to have like a back. So their design was basically they're going to be like on the front and center. As was told to us, well, it was the same thing. We were told that we were going to be like front to the side. So anyway, so they got this one, and finally in the end they had this like really large banner that they were going to hang as a backdrop. Now their backdrop became the wall. Now their marketing, what did the marketing team do? They had a go-to booth, so they literally just switched the booth, which brilliant to do that. So now they have this really large thing that they printed out in order to make it as a backdrop. They couldn't make it as a backdrop, so so their marketing team, I was like, you know what? And they're like, I'm like, would you like to put it as a backdrop for our booth? Like they would hide, like you would see the banner from like from back of our booth. They're like, can we do that? We're like, sure. And they did that, and it covered our ugly back of the booth, and at the same time it looked really well. Now that was one thing, and the other thing they did was they had this like portable this like smart robot that they basically they were planning to take this smart robot outside, but then they realized that it was grass and you couldn't do that, and the robot would get destroyed so what they do with that is they basically do a simulation of what it looks like, of how this tiny little robot will walk around. And again, kudos to them, kudos to the team, and kudos to their marketing. Their marketing director is a professor, and the reason why I'm saying is a professor, this is where knowledge and experience come in. So you're dealt the hands, you know the situation, and you go in on the reputation of the big schools, and you realize when you reach there that the big schools aren't going there. So that's never a good feeling. But anyways, and they fixed it, and they were able to handle it. Yes, they ended up having to cut their the number of workers that they had to work, which for some was a good thing, for others wasn't really the good thing, because they had to take a longer shift. But other than that, pretty much that's what happened. Again, so the pros, like I said, the collaboration, the team going, the wonderful team going, the team that was on our booth, kudos to them. I mean, again, they were dealt a bad hand, and they made it work. So kudos to them, kudos to the entire admin team, kudos also to my manager. She is one of the, I talk about her, I put her on a pedestal because she deserves the pedestal. We went there because we were told that we were going to do we were going to go there, and the way that it was described to us, we're like, okay, so there's an entire area, like an activity area, and we would go and do a workshop for like CVs, interviews, and things like that. When we reached there, we were like, oh no, we are needed on the booth itself. We're needed on the booth because we're needed for just like, and she stepped up. She just went in. She was no longer just the HR director. She was the HR director, academic dean, marketing director, and everything. that energy that bounces off of her, literally you would see her and the admin leader, they were bouncing off each other. Their energy was just bouncing off of each other, and it was wonderful. Again, you're dealt crappy hand. You're dealt a really crappy hand. And if I say the level of crappiness that it was a crappy hand, and it was really bad. And they bounced off each other. They were like just off of each other. They were getting the job done. They were doing everything. It was wonderful. And not only that, but also because this is if you really want to know like how bad things were, our the school owner actually came to the event and like sat down and was like helping us, which again, you don't get an owner doing that. And that's why I love this guy. This guy is, kudos to him. He felt what happened with the team. He understood what happened with the team, and he was there. And just like I said, the entire energy level of just these three was beyond amazing. And then the art team, there's like one of the art teachers, he went above and beyond. Again, he like the compensation and the pocket money and whatever it is not that much, okay? Because when we did our compensation plans, when we did our budgeting plan, we did it on a level of something because this is what we were told we were going to get, and we didn't get it. So it wasn't a lot, and because we didn't expect it to be, we were told, like I said, we were told by the organizers certain things, and it didn't happen. But anyways, that's again, I'm still holding a grudge about it, but just basically, so that's what happened. And then like this person, they're hungry, they're tired, they're annoyed, and they just went above and beyond. And then our own, like we have one of the artists, he's a art assistant. Wonderful job again. This guy took a crappy looking thing and made it beautiful, and just wonderful, great job. Absolutely lovely. They went above and beyond. The entire team went above and beyond. And then the teachers came in, and they were like, some of the teachers were not supposed to be coming in for the shift, and they came in. They're like, okay, we're gonna get this done. Let's get this done. Kudos again to the teachers. Kudos to them. Absolutely wonderful. And I'm gonna continue saying absolutely wonderful, because that team and the way they handled the thing, again, a very crappy hand. It is the crappiest hand I've seen. And I've seen some pretty crappy hands, and this was like in my top 10 of crappiest hands to be dealt. And they made it. They made it work. And I absolutely, again, kudos to them. Kudos to these guys. I love them. So what are we gonna do next? Like for like next time or for the next event? One is we're gonna scout the area. We're actually like, which was supposed to happen, but then again, like I said, we heard that these two schools are coming in, and we kind of took it in as face value that fine, these two schools, because they're gonna come in, and this is where reputation comes in. This is the kind of reputation that I'm hoping and we're building our school to be like, is to be exactly that if their name is said in a place, in an event, you take it at face value and just go, and you pay whatever the means is, because you want to be with them on the same place as they are. So yeah, so the one thing is scouting the area. Second thing is, and this was something that we've learned, doesn't mean that a certain school is going to a place, or a certain company is going to a place that is going to be good. You need to scout the area, and you need to see the location, and then you need to see the location from where you are, from where your headquarters is. If it's too far, it's not worth it. I mean, it could be worth it, great, everything wonderful, great, but it's not going to be worth it. It's not worth the quote-unquote investment you put in. And then the other thing, and the last thing is, for the budget, this is budget-wise. For the budget-wise, increase the budget in order to avoid things like what happened in this 3 days. in appreciation. Just appreciate your employees, because your employees they're wonderful. The fact that they put up with crap like that and actually are like put up with a crap like that and actually were able to pull through. No, and your employees are everything. So hire really well and keep them. Yeah, that's it. Now the other pro thing is those actually that came in because we were on the booth, so those that wanted a job actually were able to like get interviews and get like their CVs checked and things like that, and get like tips on their CVs. So if you are a worker, or if you are an employee or somebody who has a job thinking, go to these events. You never know, you might actually find HR there, and if HR is there, go for it. And those, like I did actually on LinkedIn, I actually said that I was going to be there. There were people who actually showed up. They're like, oh yeah, we saw your LinkedIn thing and we showed up. And I was like, yes, because these as well were looked at, talked to, things like that. So yeah, do that. Anyways, hope this helps you, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye bye.